Red alert. Red alert.
This week's image is another one of the many attempts to polarize science and religion into competing corners. In the top row, we see the steady advancement of science with what appears to be Madame Curie, a pioneer for radioactivity research, the development of the computer, landing on the moon, and lastly, a massive particle accelerator. Meanwhile, in the bottom row, we see the same picture of a man praying in church ran through some generic color filters to imply that there has been no change during the same time within religion. Which in a way makes me feel bad for this church, since their attendance hasn't increased beyond one person for over 100 years. They could probably use a few more flat screen TVs and switch to a Metro worship leader. That usually works. So what is wrong with this picture? Well, the first point I'll make is this. Many Christians were and are highly educated scientists. Right next to Marie Curie, we could place Scottish isotopic chemist William Ramsay, who discovered the noble gases neon, xenon, krypton, made radon, and was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1904. Or British physicist Joseph Thomson, who is credited for discovering electrons, isotopes, and inventing the mass spectrometer. In 1906, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. The most interesting point is that they were both religious. See, religious people take part in many different roles in society, except strip clubs. I'm pretty sure being religious and working at a strip club is contradictory. It's probably in the Bible. Sounds like something Paul would write about. But again, religious people take on many different positions in society, and often the role is that of a scientist. Surely there were religious scientists involved with the creation of computers, the Apollo missions, and the mass particle accelerators. Are we really to believe the computer and the mass particle accelerator were designed and engineered by purely agnostic and atheists? Like, before applying to the job, they made sure you had no religious beliefs? Of course not. That is ridiculous. Case in point, NASA had a prayer team of individuals that would get together to pray over the missions, and many of the men who went to the moon were in fact Christian. So if we understand that many scientists and other educated individuals behind great achievements in history are often religious individuals, then clearly religion is not at odds with science. Because if it were, then we'd see no religious scientists in the world, would we? Science and religion are two very different things. Evolutionary biologist, paleontologist, and science historian Stephen Jay Gould said it best. The lack of conflict between science and religion arises from a lack of overlap between their respective domains of professional expertise, science in the empirical constitution of the universe, and religion in the search for proper ethical values and spiritual meaning of our lives. The attainment of wisdom in a full life requires extensive attention to both domains. This is why one can be both religious and a scientist. Now for my second point. Lack of change doesn't equal bad. There is this common misconception today that change is always good and things that don't change are archaic, old, and useless. This image clearly demonstrates that by showing a constantly evolving science and a never-changing religion. Hence, science good, religion bad. But why does something have to always change and evolve to be good? After all, many things change only to create worse outcomes. Think presidents, social trends, Indiana Jones, the latest Xbox. This is where it is important to, again, distinguish the difference between religion and science. Science is a tool bound by natural observation, and religion is adherence to supernatural revelation. These aren't different teams, they're not even the same sport. So the application of change and progression applies differently to each one. For science, where technology and research is always improving, change is good. For religion like Christianity, which believes in divine revelation from a maximum perfect being that never changes, change would be bad, as it would mean that the information isn't coming from this perfect being, or that the being isn't perfect. So in regards to this timeline, both things are good in their proper context. My final verdict? This timeline is out of touch with the true nature of science and religion, and it negates the contributions of pioneering scientists that have religious faith. I'll close with this quote from Nobel Prize-winning physicist Dr. William D. Phillips, who said, "Being an ordinary scientist and an ordinary Christian seems perfectly natural to me. It is also perfectly natural for the many scientists I know who are also people of deep religious faith." Thank you for watching, and feel free to comment with your opinion on the subject. If you like my work, please be sure to share or like my video and check out some of my other short movies. Most importantly, if you have a cartoon or meme you want rebutted, be sure to email me at redrebuttal@gmail.com.